My name is Andrea, and this is my husband, Scott. We share 3 girls together here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
The eldest is Amelia, she's 14.
She was 12 years old when we had our daughter, Carlotta, who is now 2.5. She is our wild child. We just added our 3rd daughter to the family, Twyla.
Our middle child is very active, so lots of running around and trying to keep her busy.
When we had our daughter, Carlotta, everything was great. Birth was normal. At about 6 weeks, we started noticing some things. All of a sudden, she fell off of the growth chart. So she didn't lose weight, but she wasn't gaining weight at the same rate that she was supposed to. When she was between 3 and 4 months old, she had somehow regressed back to the capabilities of a newborn. That really set off some alarm bells with us, as well as her pediatrician. She recognized quickly that there was an issue and was able to get us in with a couple different specialists to try to figure out what was going on. And we started on this medical odyssey.
We did a lot of work with GI, with feeding specialists, with PT to work on her feeding and her calorie intake.
Along the way, found out that she was silently aspirating, so she was breathing in liquids. We had already established care with a neurologist when the seizures started. And that was when things, I think, got the scariest for me, because we ended up in the emergency room 3 times in 2 months, and she ended up hospitalized one of those times.
She would be totally healthy and normal, and a couple hours later would be in the ER.
A lot of what information they were giving us and a lot of the direction we were getting from them was basically how to deal with the specific issues that she was going through.
It's really difficult when you don't have a diagnosis or don't know what's causing distress. What's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen the next day? What's going to happen the next year? So it was challenging.
I had made peace with the fact that we might not ever know what her underlying condition was. We got in to see the geneticist. He said, yeah, for sure, we will do something called whole exome sequencing. We'll be able to figure out if there's anything that we can see that's going on.
The geneticist ordered the full exome sequencing. Just requires a blood sample, and after that it was sort of off to the lab for analysis.
GeneDx did that interpretation. They were the ones that ran the whole exome sequencing, looked at our genetics across the variants they felt could be pathogenic and tied back to her condition. The condition that they diagnosed her with is a group called congenital disorders of glycosylation. Once we got that diagnosis, we finally had a little bit more direction around what we could be doing.
So we've got our sort of daily routine of medicine care for her for the seizures. And the other big day-to-day thing for Carlotta that we've worked with is she still was delayed in gross motor skill development. And so for many months after diagnosis still, we had to work with her physical strength to develop being able to walk and to do so safely.
Because it's a genetic condition, it is something she's going to live with. There's not currently a treatment for it. The other interesting piece of this puzzle was by the time we received her diagnosis, we were also pregnant with Twyla.
It's 1 in 4 chance for each kid. It's a lot more we can do up front and initially from delivery onward if we knew. We decided to do it, and the results came back, and each kid has the condition. It was challenging.
I'm glad that we were able to test prenatally because it gave us time to mentally prepare. We had a plan going forward right from when she was born. We also found out that they are doing drug repurposing trials for kids with this condition. So there might be some help down the road, whether it's for Carlotta or other children that are affected by this. We were able to link up with other parents with kids that had this condition. It made us feel a lot less alone.
I wouldn't use the word closure because it was really the start of the next part of our journey, but it takes a lot of the uncertainty out of our day-to-day.
And one other thing that we've learned from our journey is that early intervention is super important. My advice to parents would be to try to get that information and push for that whole exome sequencing as early as possible, because the more information you have, the earlier, the more you are potentially able to do and help your child and their long-term outcome.
We're able to live a mostly normal life at the moment of our children are in daycare, they are playing, they're healthy day to day. We know how to provide for them, and that allows us to move forward.